Good morning. Day 159. Y'all, I show up every day and I'm like, what's going to happen today? It's like, um, on one of my posts yesterday, I had somebody comment. She was like, I know it can't be as easy as you make it seem. I really appreciate all your hard work on this. And I'm like, oh, that felt good, dude. Yes, I am taking the time to do it. But I have to say, when you allowed God to show up and you willingly submit and yield there, and you allow the Spirit to work, it's not just me working. Like it just, like, I can't, like, I wish I could take credit. I can take credit in as far as I'm taking the time to park myself and activate or allow the Spirit to do its thing. And that is actually what we're going to talk about today. I read chapters 46 through 49. So that's a lot of ground to cover. Hey, that was pretty cool, God, because we're going to talk about covering ground. Did not plan that. And I titled today's MVP just because that's, I think, language that anybody can understand. The most valuable player. We kind of get that, like, and the MVP, what have they done to be the MVP? They've done things in the right order, with devotion, with discipline, with time, with their talent. Like, it all came together to create their being able to receive that. You know, they didn't just show up only on game days. It's not just talent. It's a combination of putting all the things together in the right order and spending the time. Like, you see maybe the title get given, but there was probably years of just dedication, hard work, showing up when nobody was looking, all the hours of practice for those people to get that prestigious recognition. And I think we all have that potential. And I think that's what God is trying to say through his word and all the various world's religions and philosophies can't even say the same thing. Like, you don't get the reward without doing the work. You don't get to where you're going without taking full advantage of the journey. Like, you're going places. And I feel like I even had a little bit of a light bulb moment this morning. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Well, like, I have another level of getting it. I think I still have a lot left to get. I don't think there's ever any kind of arrival point with this, with God, because he's God. I'm human. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't think it's possible. But in what really caught my attention this morning in chapter 49 was the verses that talked about mountains being turned into pathways and highways even being made that would rise above the ground. Like, literally highways. That's kind of cool. Like, I think there's a lot of play on words there, and depending on the King James version uses the word exalted. But anyway, I was like, that's really interesting. Like, there are a lot of metaphors, of course, in the Bible. I don't think he's literally turning mountains into pathways. But I think when we get things in the right order and we're spending time in the right places and all our energy and time, and then we're making progress, and we're going, like, when you're going somewhere, and like, I recently got in my car and drove from Kentucky to Florida. Like, there were certain things I had to do to prepare for the trip. I had to know where I'm going. I had to put gas in the tank. I had to pack. I had to make sure my house was in good order. and that we have a caretaker that's taking care of what needs to be taken care of at our house and our property. And then I've prepared for even stops along the way with refreshment and filling up money to put in the gas tank. Like, there's a lot more than just being in the car and driving. And yet, this is how a lot of us treat our lives. Like, our physical body is just it. It's it, right? And like, we feed it, we make sure it has a house to live in, a couch to sit on, that it's comforted, that it gets some sleep, hopefully, gets maybe some movement. But we're more than our physical bodies. And I think we do spend a lot of time on our brains. We're like, okay, well, I think, so therefore maybe I should take care of my brain and use my brain well. But some of us don't even do that. We don't spend time. But that might be one of the things we're like, oh, I should really think more, like, and use my brain. But there's this third element of us that's called the spirit. And I think that's where a lot of us, and then our spirit feels it. It feels neglected, and it's going, hey, you're neglecting me. I matter too. As a matter of fact, I am the MVP. I'm the star of this show, and you're totally neglecting me or giving me leftovers. It's like the image that came to my mind was we're so focused on our physical bodies, and we have this car that can get us places, like really get us places if we get in it and let it be the vehicle and let it do what it can. And it's called the spirit. And it's like we've parked it at the gas. Those of us that go to church maybe, or have maybe a 10-minute devotional practice that's in the morning. And I'm not making fun of this because this is me, this is where I was. And it's like we're at the gas station and we're getting a fill up. But then we're getting out of our car and then walking home and just leaving it there. And it's got a hole in the gas tank. And it just sits there. And it gets filled up and it leaks. And it's not actually helping us get from point A to point B. And then we come back for our devotion or for church. And then we fill it up. And then we get back out, and then we go live our lives in our bodies. Like, we're leaving our most valuable asset or player parked. And we think we're filling it up, and we think we're using it because we have it, and we're doing something with it. But it's not the thing that's like driving the show, that's the main vehicle of our life. We're relying on our 2 feet, our body, and our brains. And we're so much more than that. And I think we really struggle with this because, like, there's that knowing. But I think the spirit, if we talk about like language, speaking, it speaks a whole nother language that we don't understand, that shows up in intuition, in that like, oh, I think this kind of makes sense. I know I should be doing this, but I don't know. Even when we read the Word of God, we're like, because it speaks in riddles, and we're like, I don't understand this. So you've got to like allow the Spirit to come in and allow the Spirit to talk to the Spirit. Our little piece of the Spirit to talk to the big Spirit and decipher all of this. And I think that's actually what I'm doing now. And I didn't know, and I couldn't put language to it, or I didn't. And now I feel like I'm getting further in my understanding that's going to take me further with my body and my mind than I've gone before. And which is really interesting because it's not me. It's just an aspect of me that I don't fully understand. Just like I can't fully understand God, because it's like a little piece of God in me that speaks God's language or the nature of the universe, like whatever word you use or whatever concept and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. Because I think God, because since He's the creator, He speaks all those languages. He speaks the language of the Spirit. And, sorry, I've got lots of buggies around, so I'm like So if you see me waving my hands, that's what's happening. Hey, good morning from Colorado. Hey, it's early there. Anyway, so I think that's part of what is the difference. Like, I had a light bulb moment, and even in one of the coaching programs I'm in, one of my homework items to do is to really like sit down and identify what a journey looks like. We call it a success path or a transformation journey. And a lot of coaches have to do this, even athletic coaches, a karate coach. I've got one of those tuning in. Like, she's got to be able to meet somebody where they are and like, okay, I know what your potential is, and I can take you step by step to get there. There's an order. Like, and that's the other thing that we do. We get frustrated when we see somebody else way ahead, and we're like, why can't I just show up at the games and just do this? Do I really have to do practice every day? And when I'm at practice, do I really have to like give effort and do all the things? Like, and we do that with our spiritual lives. We just want the reward. We want to just show up on game days. We don't want to put in the time, the practice, the effort, all the things. But we want all the reward. We want all the recognition, all the benefits. And when God tells us in the Bible, and again, wherever your spiritual journey is, you've got probably similar language that is telling you, hey, your ways as a human are not my ways. I created you. Please listen to me and trust me on this. I know it doesn't seem right. Do it anyway. You know, how many coaches and parents say those words multiple times a day? Like, trust me. And we don't, because we have our brains and our bodies that are like, nope, yep, I don't have time for that. I got to go over here and do this. And what we don't realize is that if we take the time and put the spirit in the MVP position, it makes mountains seem like nothing. It creates highways where we can get places in our life, but it's so counterintuitive. But yet, even, and this is not just true in the Christian Bible believing world, but look at spiritual gurus like Gandhi, like Buddha, even, like all of these different religions are saying, hey, I'm taking time out for the spirit. And when you meet people that understand and spend time on their spirit and speak spiritual language, like, you meet those people and you're like, there's something different about this person. And they seem like they're moving real slow and they don't have a care in the world. What's up with that? Sometimes it maybe even rubs us the wrong way. Well, I think this is people that are actually living life, driving that car. They're filling their tanks up and they're actually driving that car. They're putting their body underneath. They're putting the spirit in charge. They're not leaving the car just at the gas tank, gas station to be filled up and then walk away with their body to live their life. And I think that's the relationship a lot of us have with our spirit. I know it was, and still is to some extent, my relationship. Like, I feel like I'm a new driver. Like, I've got my permit now. Ooh, I think I'm getting this. Oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to go. But I got in the car, I'm learning, I'm putting in the time, and then I'm seeing the fruit of that show up in my physical life, in my body, in my mind. And it's making things a lot easier, where I was just trying so hard on my own before because I had the wrong order of things. It was body and mind first, and then spirit, just as we had time for it, nice devotional time in the morning, maybe church on Sunday, reading devotions. And believe me, I am not, if you all are feeling like I'm minimizing any of this, no, it's all part of the journey. Like, I couldn't be here without doing that. But I realize now, looking back, that I was relying on other people who had spent time on their spirit and getting a direct message from their spirit, you know, God's spirit to their spirit, and then telling about it. But I'm on my own journey. I got to do that work for myself. It's still good to read all of that and to be inspired by it, to be moved by it. But in order for this vehicle, this life, to really be going down the spiritual highway, I've got to do that directly for my spirit. Is this making sense? Yeah, right. We love when our spirits feel that. It's a whole different language. We don't fully get it, which is why we put it at the bottom. Like, it's counterintuitive. And it says it over and over in the Bible. I'm like near the end of Isaiah now. I have read over half the Bible, like at least page-wise. And I'm just now like, oh. And I'm sure I'm going to read the Bible 20 more times, 20 different ways over my lifetime. And every time it's going to be like a new thing. I'm getting something in a new way. But I feel like this is like, oh, if we put the spirit in the right order at the MVP, then living our physical lives, our body and our mind, we actually make it easier. Those mountains get turned into just pathways. We get highways that can just go over problems. We experience life in a whole new way. If we just get in the car, make sure there's no holes in the gas tank. We're not just leaving it parked at the gas station. Like, we're actually getting in the car, we're driving it, allowing the spirit to be the vehicle that moves our physical human life, our body and our mind. We tend to go mind, body, spirit, right? What if we said spirit, mind, body, and then allowed the body to be in good shape, because we're motivated from the proper perspective and we're not trying to do it backwards, which is why we get so frustrated, I think, because I'm spending a lot less time being frustrated now. Hi, good morning. And I can't explain it. I don't fully understand it, but I know my spirit does. My spirit's starting to get it, which is calming the rest of me down and is helping my relationships get better. I'm not too worried about whether or not I'm going to be the next guru coach or the best realtor around. I'm just going to be the best I can be and who God puts in my path, and I'm going to serve the heck out of whoever I serve in whatever capacity I serve. And that's all I can ask for. And that is what I call a great success path. Hey, good morning. Anyway, I think y'all have walked at least a quarter of a mile with me. So I'm going to let that sit with you all and see where you all can maybe sit with that yourself. Let your spirit be filled directly yourself. Don't take my leftovers or my perspective. Get it directly from the source. Plug your spirit into the great spirit and see, and do that on a regular basis and see if that doesn't allow the vehicle of your life to actually move along the highway versus you just leaving it parked while you frantically take your body around on foot trying to do things and only getting in that car once in a while. We think we're filling it up, and we are filling it up, but we're not using it for what it can really do. Think about that analogy. I think it's a pretty good one. All right, rise and shine, people. The world needs us. The world needs spirit moving people that are living from the right order of things. We need some MVPs in this world. All right, I love you guys. Bye.